I'm thinking some areas out near Buffalo Prairie, Buffalo, Iowa, might be dealing with some gusty winds. So we have some campgrounds here along the Mississippi here between Buffalo. You get out near Andalusia, out near Loud Thunder. This is where we're likely going to see some of those gustier winds here, likely within the next 10 to 15 minutes. So that would be one of those things. If you are at a campground, you probably try to find the shelter there, or maybe just hop in your car or something like that, just to get away a little bit from the wind. And then so behind it is when we're going to have the widespread showers and thunderstorms that are kind of growing in coverage now as it kind of push through West Liberty and Wilton. So we're probably going to get some heavier downpours here near Muscatine shortly. And then this is all going to be heading towards Walcott, Buffalo. And of course, you get out here near 280 out near Milan. We'll probably see some of those gustier winds as well. I left my remote over on the table. I don't know what I was thinking about that, but that would be helpful because then I can move the map around. So we have that severe thunderstorm warning, but those storms may be looking a little worse for the wear here as you get out to just past Maquoketa, Charlotte, and Preston. We're about to start to see some things kind of pick up here right now. So as you get along Highway 30 there between DeWitt and Wheatland, you can kind of see those storms maybe trying to merge a little bit. So what that would lead me to believe is you might see a little uptick here in intensity here in western Scott County. So from Dixon out to Walcott, that just pushed through areas near Bennett where we had some of those strong winds here earlier. But this gust front is something that I want to keep tabs on because this is something that's approaching the 280 corridor. I'm going to turn this over here to Skyview in just a minute to see if we're picking up on maybe some of those gustier winds and maybe that shelf cloud out ahead of the storm. And you can see this maybe approaching Eldridge as well. You kind of see this little thin ribbon of radar returns. That's a pretty good indication that we're seeing some winds well ahead of the storm. So you can see that out near DeWitt as well that kind of just pushed in. So Princeton, Charlotte, anywhere here in western, or I say eastern parts of Scott and Clinton County, some strong winds are starting to approach your area here this morning. So I'm going to jump this over here to Skyview to see if we can maybe get a quick peek of where we're seeing some of the stronger winds here this morning. Where did I have Skyview at? It's one of those things we have so many things that we're checking on here. But there we go on Skyview. We have some lightning there associated with it right now, but I'm not exactly seeing much of the shelf cloud, but what I can see is, boy, we have a lot of lightning there off to our west. And here's just a check of all of our other cameras at the moment. You can see the rain really coming down in Dubuque. We are going to continue to track some lightning there in the Bettendorf camera there off in the distance. I saw some flashes in Burlington earlier, but I'm not seeing anything there right now. So as it stands, we're going to stick with this here for another 3 minutes and see if we get to maybe what would be considered. There's the downstream issue there for a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that now includes Whiteside County until 5 a.m. So since this is going to be blowing through the metro, let's just hang on here and let's get down to brass tacks. So we have the brand new severe thunderstorm warning there until 5 a.m. for Clinton, Scott, Whiteside counties. That would also look like it would include Rock Island County as well. There we go. I'm just updating that. Reading multiple screens at once is always a lot of fun here early on your morning. Right now, let's see. We're looking at the 60-mile-per-hour wind gust at the moment, and we're looking for a lot of this to continue to kind of just drift now to the southeast at about 35. So when this started here this morning, we had winds of 60 miles per hour. The storms themselves were moving off to the east and southeast at 50 miles per hour. We're now seeing these slow down a little bit, which in turn will increase the amount of rain that areas are going to pick up here this morning. So we have the special weather statement there in Joe Daviess County. Looks like this warning that includes parts of Jackson and on the Illinois side of the river. You get into Carroll County, maybe just south there of Savannah, but pretty much anywhere from DeWitt through the Quad Cities down to Clinton is where we're going to experience the potential for some isolated 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This is one of these scenarios where not everybody's going to see the strongest winds, but we certainly have these across the area this morning, and we don't want any more of those pockets of strong winds. I know this is a lot of what have you done for me lately type of thing where, oh, these storms aren't going to be anything. It didn't happen at my house. And then you have areas in the past like East Moline that have gotten hit really, really hard. So trust me, you don't want this, and there's no need to be complaining about that if the strong winds kind of miss your area. But right now we have central Scott County is pretty much where we have these strong winds at, as well as you get into Clinton Clinton County as we have that line continuing to drop east and southeast here towards the Mississippi River. So it is right now 4 a.m. here, top of the hour. You are watching KWQC TV6 as we continue our severe weather coverage here for a second straight morning. Typically we would be airing early today, but early today we have severe weather that is kind of taking a little bit of precedence here on that here this morning. So if you're just waking up, 60-mile-an-hour winds on an isolated basis are what is heading towards the Quad Cities metro, towards Clinton, towards Grand Mountain, DeWitt here over the next half hour to 45 minutes. So while this isn't considered as severe as yesterday and not enough to maybe sound the sirens, this is enough that some of you might be waking up here very early on our Wednesday morning. Now we have some thunderstorms here as well that extend south of our warning. So Muscatine, we're starting to see some heavy rain roll towards your area. This is going to continue to roll towards, really you get out there along Highway 61 out there in Scott County, out near Bluegrass. We're talking towards areas near Nahant Marsh and really the 280 corridor. So another busy morning here. This is one of these things that we've talked about has the potential for happening here early this morning. So what I want to do is turn on our winds and kind of see where we can find maybe some gustier winds that where they'll be approaching here soon. So winds are gusting out well ahead of the front. So this is now kind of approaching what is where the National Weather Service is here out at the Mount Joy Airport. So we'll circle that right there. That's where our radar is. So there's where we're probably going to be dealing with some gustier winds at the moment, but radar again estimating really anywhere between 50 and 60 miles per hour there. I know we keep pegging areas there up along Highway 30, but the storm is now kind of bearing down on the weather service there. So that's one of those things that it might be kind of obscuring our data here for a tiny bit with those gustier winds. Now, this is all drifting east and southeast now at 35 miles per hour. So it's a little bit slower than what we were seeing here just about 45 minutes ago, but I will kind of put a track on this here for you to kind of give us an idea of when to expect things. DeWitt pretty much coming down right now there at 410. I think you already had the strong winds move through, but the heavier rain now starting to approach your area. The Quad Cities metro here now around 4:30, and then you got Hampton, Illinois there at 4:38, 4:52 in Joslyn. I've had some questions here about hail. We have that tag on it for maybe the potential of 3/4 of an inch sized hail. Right now, where our radar is picking up on this would be down near Muscatine with a maybe walnut sized hail, and another little portion up near Maquoketa with the same deal there with the potential for maybe some walnut or kind of hail that's not quite a little bit bigger than pea size. And that's kind of where you have your lightning cores here right now. So even just zooming in on this as you get out near Andrew, Iowa. So this is heading towards Miles. Anywhere along Highway 52 here as you're getting into parts of Jackson County, Iowa. If you're in the Savannah area, Mount Carroll, even Thompson, Illinois near the prison, this is heading towards your area at the moment. Now, we saw Goose Lake there pop up near Charlotte. You had the gusty winds move through already, but now the rain is going to start to kind of pick up. I'm not seeing much lightning now really between Charlotte and Welton and Calamus, but you head back towards Dixon, Iowa, and then where we had that uptick in intensity here, looks like it's Highway 6 there between Wilton and West Liberty. That's probably where we're having a little bit of hail right now. And these are not the storms that we really want to have this time of year. A lot of our crops are maturing, so we get these gusty winds. That brings crop damage into play here, and that's not the best time of year for that, obviously, as we're starting to get ready for harvest season here. Hard to believe that, as we're already now at the end of July, heading into the month of August here soon. So just kind of taking a peek here at some information, seeing if we're getting any additional storm reports. The isolated wind gusts are really going to be maintained here to areas near Clinton through part of the Quad Cities. Now, this is a slowing of the storms here as well. So there's this flash flood threat that I think is slowly developing here this morning. And the reason I'm kind of pointing that out is because we have another round of storms here off to our west that will move through later today. So aside from the heat and humidity that we had yesterday, we're not concerned with that. We're now concerned with obviously the strong wind gust and that flash flood threat. In fact, we have a flood watch now that's been posted for the area through the rest of today. So I fear that this could be one of those days where we're going to have multiple rounds of slow moving thunderstorms. So it depends. If you get hit multiple times, you would have that increased risk. So obviously that places areas, say from Wilton, Walcott, Eldridge, DeWitt under that threat here again later on today. So right now I'm going to put a little track on this as things have kind of slowed down in terms of the speed of the overall storms. This would likely lead to, again, that chance for some potential potential heavier rainfall amounts as this is rolling towards the area. So seeing if we can get maybe a little bit better of a track on that to give some more hometowns and some more areas, an update on when to expect the worst of these conditions. Looks like as you get out to near the Erie Prophetstown area there around 445, 447 there for Joslyn, Illinois. So everybody get ready for a little bit of an early wake-up call. Maybe you'll hear some rattling here along or at home here soon. I can see that gust front now is approaching areas out near McCausland, out near Lowmore, Comanche, Clinton as well. So it's everywhere along that line that I was just talking about. I have to get a quick sip of coffee here on our Wednesday morning. Got parched here. But from Andover down through Lowmore, here's Highway 30 there in Scott County. So here's Comanche there along the Mississippi River. That's where we have maybe some winds starting to pick up. That's well ahead of the actual line of thunderstorms itself. So you get out near Eldridge, Parkview, Long Grove. Your gusty winds have probably already arrived, but you get out near Cordova and Port Byron. This is probably where we're going to have some breezier conditions. I believe you got Princeton, Iowa in there as well. And then you drop even a little more to the south there along that line. So there's the radar out at the Mount Joy Airport. Some breezy conditions probably pushing through there at the moment. Probably already pushed through Bluegrass heading towards Buffalo. So that kind of places at least the gustier winds here in the Quad Cities fairly shortly. And then we're going to follow it up with the potential for some heavier rain. That's been coming down at a pretty decent pace now out near Dixon, out near Maysville. So Donahue, you're probably hearing a lot of rumbles of thunder, but you haven't quite maybe heard the rain pick up just yet. Well, that's going to happen here pretty shortly. As we kind of go back now to our north, I don't want to forget about our friends there along Highway 20, as we do have a special weather statement posted for winds maybe to 50 to 55 miles per hour. So Miles, Iowa, Andover, Iowa, you're going to start to see a little bit of rain here increasing here shortly. Here's our special weather statement. This cell has just really kind of crossed the Mississippi River. So downtown Galena is probably raining pretty heavily there right now. Scales Mound, you'll probably start to see things kind of pick up. And then you get into the eastern part here of the county from Stockton. You get out past Lena, Illinois. You got Apple Canyon in here as well. As you're going to see those storms really picking up in intensity here shortly. Again, wind gusts maybe a little bit higher than that. Radar still continuing to estimate winds maybe up to 50 miles per hour here out in Clinton and Scott County. So it's one of these scenarios where the storm is kind of would be considered borderline. It's kind of right on the edge of severe and not severe. So that's why I think we're going to have some of these isolated wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. And that's why we extended that severe thunderstorm warning here to include parts of Rock Island County, Whiteside County, Illinois as well until 5 a.m. You can see widespread thunderstorms here, though, off to our west. Here's the next round that we're going to be focused on later on today. This is also going to produce the potential for some gusty winds. Since it's arriving here after sunrise, I have a feeling that it won't be quite as strong as what it is now. Only prompted a couple of warnings out near the Des Moines metro area, but look what happens behind it. Widespread steady rain. So I think we have the potential for another day where we pick up 1 inch, 2, maybe 3 in localized spots here. That's why flood watches have been posted, and that's why I'm being more concerned here with some flash flooding a little bit later on today. But right now, our main storm is just quickly approaching the western part of maybe the 280 corridor there in Scott County, and that's going to continue your severe thunderstorm warning here this morning. Had a couple of areas kind of a quick uptick and maybe a hail core. Walnut-sized hail is what we're expecting here with the strongest cells this morning. And we continue to track what would be the gustier wind threat here this morning. So we're going to stick with this here for the next about 10, maybe 15 minutes as this rolls into our area. We do have to reset here for Quad Cities today, or maybe we'll even continue this as it passes through the Quad Cities, and then we can kind of reset everything and get ready for our show. But the gust front coming out well ahead of the storm here at the moment. It looks like that has just moved through Eldridge, quickly approaching the Quad Cities area. In fact, we'll turn on our velocity and see if we can see things kind of racing out ahead of it. Looks like you can right now. I'm going to jump back onto the screen here as you can kind of see where the strongest maybe gust winds here ahead of that line. You can kind of see that kind of get out there near Buffalo. Another little wave out there that's pushing just past the radar there at Mount Joy, and now just east of Eldridge and DeWitt. So that's heading towards Cordova, out near Lowmore. And yes, this is going to be in the Quad Cities, northwestern part of the Quad Cities here fairly shortly. So what I want to do here is kind of take a look at some cameras to see if we can take a peek there at Skyview to see if we can see what would be probably a shelf cloud quickly approaching the area. And there you go. You can see some of those ominous clouds quickly approaching the Quad Cities. That's some unsettled weather here, to say the least. Of course, you can see a ton of lightning, and there it is, just off in the distance. You can see the shelf clouds starting to arrive. Our severe weather coverage continues here on your Wednesday morning. We're now quickly approaching 410. You can see as this is approaching our area right now, our camera, which is of course just on top of the TV6 building. Once this passes, we're going to see some strong winds here arrive in the Quad Cities. Now, since this is nighttime or very early in the morning, kind of hard to see our trees kind of blowing around or anything like that. But I did turn this off to the north and west, and that's kind of pointed directly towards where our strong winds are located here at the moment. So the severe thunderstorm warning now encompasses Scott, Rock Island, Clinton, and Whiteside counties there in Illinois. It looks like even parts of southwestern Carroll County, as well as we continue to see at least reports and radar indicated winds gusting between 55 and 60 miles per hour. This is not going to be the widespread winds like we saw yesterday, but it's going to be more on an isolated basis. So I'm going to step off and put a new track on this to kind of help everybody get an idea of the exact timing of maybe some of the thunderstorms here this morning. This is drifting very slow now. It was at 50 miles per hour. We're now down to only 35. So this will arrive in Eldridge here pretty much in the next few minutes. So Eldridge friends, you're probably joining us here. Thank you for that. We're continuing the severe thunderstorm warning here until 5 a.m. For 60 mile per hour winds. This is one of these scenarios where we've had multiple rounds of severe weather here this year. So there might be some trees and limbs that are weaker than they would typically be. So the 60 mile an hour wind gust could certainly snap some branches and things like that. With the slower movement of these storms, this leads to that increased flash flooding threat. Again, think of maybe your typical areas. I know we get out near the boat landing there in Davenport, as Marquette and River Drive. That always seems to flood. Here's the deal. A lot of, it's not just our infrastructure here, it's a lot of city infrastructure here across the entire United States are only built to handle an inch or two, maybe 2 inches of rain in 1 hour. Once you exceed that type of rainfall rate, it overwhelms our sewer systems, and that leads to flooding. It's just one of those things that that's just how our infrastructure is set to handle. Hey, we got a new special weather statement now for Reynolds, Illinois, out towards Aledo. You can see some gusty winds now have crossed the Mississippi River there into Rock Island County, so as you get out near Edgington as well. Let's take a sneak peek at that as winds probably going to be gusting to about 50 miles per hour with that particular line. So it's just one of these days where things are kind of borderline severe. You might be waking up here a little bit earlier than you'd typically want to, and hey, I don't blame you, but the good news is we got you covered here on KWQC. So your special weather statement now includes areas out in Mercer County, Rock Island County as well. This storm itself is moving 40 miles per hour to the southeast. We have winds up to 50 miles per hour, so let's just kind of take a quick scope of that and give you an idea of where some of those stronger winds are out near Muscatine here at the moment. These will be crossing the Mississippi River here shortly. Again, kind of hard to kind of pinpoint where some of those stronger winds are, maybe out near Reynolds along that gust front of 30 to 40 miles per hour. So enough to warrant the special weather statement here this morning. Again, we've had a little bit of hail this morning as opposed to yesterday where we had, it was just far too moist. But even as I kind of zoom in here, there's not a ton out there near Muscatine, but that's really kind of where we see these higher lightning peaks is where I'm seeing some of the hail. So marble size there, that is well below your severe limits, but you probably have a little bit of hail as well as you get out here into, it looks like that's Jackson County, just north there of Preston. If you have, I know we have some loyal viewers up there that send us pictures and reports here all the time. Let me know if you're experiencing any hail. Right now, radar's estimating some walnut-sized hail as that's kind of rolling through as well. So that would be still sub-severe, but nonetheless, strong thunderstorms here are moving into the area this morning. That gust front should be rolling into the Quad Cities here pretty much right now. Let's take another look here at Skyview. You can see those thunderstorms are well behind the gustier winds, and I can kind of see the trees moving there on this bottom of your picture. Really, in fact, you're looking there at Davenport Central, directly over that here this morning, and kind of see those tree limbs getting jostled around. Well, not too shabby here right now. Something that obviously we're watching for as this is rolling in. So we're continuing to track severe thunderstorms towards downtown Davenport and portions of the Quad Cities Metro. The winds are going to precede the heavy rain. The storms are slowing down, and what that means is we're now looking at an increased risk for flooding and flash flooding here on our Wednesday. That's why we extended the first alert day through today. Once we get past this, we have a wonderful stretch of weather on the way here heading into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So right now your severe thunderstorm warning does continue for Clinton. Right now for the Quad Cities Metro. Special weather statements here for Muscatine, parts of Rock Island, northwestern Mercer County there as well for winds maybe at 50 miles per hour. We also have special weather statements that include Northern Carroll and Joe Davies County. So everything that we have here at the moment is kind of right on that line of being severe or not, and we've had a history of this line that's moving into the Quad Cities of isolated wind gusts over 60 miles per hour. We measured one out in Loudon. We had one in Independence, Iowa here earlier. So right now this has been as advertised for some of those severe wind gusts. So one of these mornings we're just hunkering down. You can see the winds getting out well ahead of this storm now. Really that gust front, I'm going to draw it on here, is right along the Mississippi River there from Clinton, now maybe approaching the station here at the moment and dropping into southern parts there of Rock Island County. So we have lots going on here on radar this morning. I'm going to turn off the that so we can get a little bit clearer picture. But from Edgington down to Buffalo, out near Coal Valley, approaching the airport here right now is likely where we have some of the breeziest conditions here at the moment. And I want to kind of see if we can zoom in a little bit more here in the Quad Cities to see if we can see some of those gustier winds. Yeah, I can see the winds picking up here in downtown Davenport. They don't seem to be all that strong here with that gust front, but we might have some breezier conditions here in wake of this as we have some storms that are approaching Eldridge. Looks like that would be Highway 61 there north of Brady Street. Some heavier rain is going to be an issue because just check this out. Rainfall rates with this are somewhere in the 1 to 2 inches per hour. So there's a 4.2 inches per hour. So these are some significant downpours here this morning, and that would be a sign that again, we could overcome a lot of our infrastructure, meaning we could see some runoff and some brief flooding in areas. But our ground is saturated from all of our storms here so far this year. And just kind of to put a whole kind of scope on this, we have several storms out there this morning. They're all kind of moving at different paces. So we still have that special weather statement here in Joe Davies County with some strong storms. A recent uptick there just north of Preston there along Highway 52 on the Iowa side of the river. That's where we're probably looking at a little bit of hail here this morning, along with those gusty winds. And right now, the special weather statement will continue there until 4:30 a.m. For parts of southeastern Dubuque County. You got Stevenson County there just outside our area, and then Joe Davies County. This is only moving to the east now at about 25 miles per hour. So that's obviously considerably slower maybe than some of our other cells, but just kind of track that out. You got Woodbine here at 422. Apple Canyon Lake Golf Course, a little 9-holer up there, a lot of fun. At 423, Stockton High School there at 435, and as you get down outside their viewing area by 443 there out near Wards Grove. So we're going to continue our coverage here for at least the next few minutes as this line is quickly approaching the Quad Cities. The cell that has prompted our severe thunderstorm warning is kind of breaking up there now as you get towards, say, DeWitt and Charlotte, and the kind of the heavier rain is now focused more towards Eldridge and Walcott, and then also out near Preston. So it's kind of splitting here at the moment, but I do want to track that out for you as well. Let's see here. That would be out near Andover at 418, Sebula 424, Fulton 427. So as these storms are slowing down, they're dumping a lot of rain and some very localized gusty winds. And again, this line itself is slowly drifting here in the Quad Cities off to the southeast at about 35 miles per hour or so. So it should be arriving here around the 4:30 time frame, at least the heavier rain that is. I'm going to go out ahead of this and track what would likely be some heavier wind gusts maybe that have just pushed through our station here. This is being pushed out well ahead of the thunderstorm. That would be traveling, southeast again, roughly 30 to 35. So it would be out in Joslyn here at 4:30, Orion at 4:35, Geneseo at 4:37, and if it kind of continues its track out near Anawan here at 4:57. But at the moment, I'm not seeing anything that'd be indicating something that's overly strong outside of maybe 40 to 50 miles per hour. But radar now starting to pick up on that would be quite high, but maybe some 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts here as we're really close to the radar as the gust front has passed through. And realistic at time, we're probably looking at winds gusting closer to 40 and 50 here at the moment. Still some uptick out there near DeWitt and Welton where we've seen that here for a large chunk of the morning. But but the front itself, that's pushing out to well ahead of the storm, has now essentially crossed the Mississippi, crossed in through the Quad Cities metro, and continues to march off to the east. So we're maintaining that severe thunderstorm warning here for the Quad Cities metro. We'll certainly see some rainfall begin to pick up here very shortly. So this is all kind of behind that main wave of thunderstorms. So the thunderstorms are behind the main gust front here early on, if I can keep my words straight. We've been talking nonstop here, it seems like, these last few days. But we're going to take a look at maybe some of these cameras here as well to start the morning off. We have some ominous skies certainly on our Rock Island camera, and we can certainly see things really getting windy now out in Bettendorf. So let's go to this camera here, the quad box. You can kind of see in Bettendorf our camera maybe just under this first alert tab. I could see things kind of jostling around here quite a bit. So that front and the gustier winds have arrived in the Quad Cities. Here's our camera that's on top of the Modern Woodman building there in Rock Island. That's faced towards 280. So not seeing much in the way of lightning there anymore, but some breezy conditions now likely going to arrive. Moline, East Moline, Silvis, we'll see some of those breezier conditions. Burlington, we're not too shabby here at the moment. You're kind of south of this morning line, at least, of thunderstorms. And Skyview, quite dark here this morning, as we have the denser clouds and the thunderstorms now starting to approach the area. So you can see lightning certainly lighting up our early morning sky here on our Wednesday morning. And again, the severe thunderstorm warning continues right now until 5 a.m. I do think it's looking a little worse for the wear at the moment. A lot of this now looks to be sub-severe. So we're going to continue to track this at least into the Quad Cities, and then we'll again have to kind of dump out for a minute or two, kind of reset things and get ready for Quad Cities today. But we're not done yet. We have another batch of thunderstorms here, a major line of storms here off to our west. Now, this isn't producing any severe weather at the moment, but I think this will end up producing our chance for some flooding and flash flooding here later on today. We have that special weather statement here that includes parts of Rock Island and Mercer County, 50-mile-an-hour winds, and we have some pea-sized hail associated with it. So pretty much anywhere along the Mississippi River from Muscatine, or you can kind of say Mercer County and the central part there of Henry County, Illinois, northward, you're going to see some strong storms here this morning. Isolated wind gust of 60 miles per hour cannot be ruled out, but notice that storm kind of splitting apart here as you get out into central parts there of Clinton County. So maybe getting a little stronger here as it heads towards the Quad Cities and maybe as it head towards the Savannah and Joe Davies County area. I'm going to step off and see if I can get some updates here from the National Weather Service to see if we got any wind gust out there at the Mountjoy Airport. I'd just be interested to see if we could verify maybe some of those. Here this morning, as everything's really kind of just between 50 and 60 miles per hour. Obviously, we're continuing with the special weather statements there for Muscatine County as that storm does move through, but a busy morning here on Doppler radar. And remember, this is not the only wave that we're tracking. Looks like we have some additional special weather statements there getting into southwest Wisconsin. We'll leave that to our friends at some of the other local TV stations as well. But these storms are really kind of falling apart there between just north there of Lowmore, Andover, and Charlotte. So some good news for some folks there. But it is now starting to rain as you get out near Mountjoy Airport. This is quickly approaching the Quad Cities as we kind of stop that, and you can kind of see where the heaviest rain is now from Long Grove out near Eldridge, near DeWitt, all the way up to Highway 30, McCausland. Things are really going to start to pick up here shortly. And then that gust front is now out near Silvis, out near the golf course there, TPC Deere Run, where they had the John Deere Classic. And then here's 280, you got the Big X out there, Joslyn, Hillsdale, Geneseo. This is where we have some gusty winds, and that is pretty much well evident right there, as you can kind of see that out well ahead of the thunderstorms. And typically when that happens and we're getting this far away, we're starting to see those storms weaken. In fact, that gust front is about 12 miles ahead of the actual thunderstorms themselves here this morning. So we're going to maintain, at least it looks like we're riding that severe thunderstorm warning. I'm feeling that they're going to drop that and issue maybe more of a special weather statement here this morning that would allow us to get some time to reset before we get into our live coverage of Quad Cities today to get you all the latest news, and of course we'll have the latest weather here throughout. But busy week. Mississippi Valley Fair here started yesterday, and it looks like it's going to be a wet one here for our Wednesday. Now, if you're looking for some good news out of everything here today, with a lot of rain and cloud cover around a lot of us us are going to fail to reach 80 degrees here today. So we are done with the heat and humidity. We can put that to bed. We're not going to be dealing with that here the rest of the week. And then we have just to get through our shower and thunderstorm complexes here today. And things have been, rocking and rolling here for a large chunk of the last 90 minutes or so. But as we kind of put everything into motion here, the storm's looking a little bit weaker as the gust front has got out well ahead of these thunderstorms. And these are really beginning to weaken now as they're rolling into the Quad Cities. So kind of the best case scenario there with the side of the slower movement producing the heavier rainfall. We are getting ready to get ready for Quad Cities today. So what I think we can do, Kaylee, back there, is I think we can send this back to programming here for a few minutes, give you your time to set up here for the show, and we'll get Dustin and Jenna here on the desk, and we'll really start things here on Quad Cities today here on your Wednesday morning. It's now 4:25, and we'll continue our coverage here of some strong storms rolling into the Quad Cities.
Work shirt.
Just wear it again. I added Unstoppable with Odor Blocker, and it keeps our clothes fresh all day.
Ooh, I'm gonna be feeling it at work today. She smells so good, I'm actually paying attention. Smell Unstoppable.
When you really need to sleep, you reach for the really good stuff. ZzzQuil Ultra helps you sleep better and longer when you need it most. It's non-habit forming and powered by the makers of NyQuil. ZzzQuil Ultra, when you really, really need to sleep.
Before you go to extremes to fix sagging and wrinkles with expensive injections.